my gosh, you got me here spontaneously at a vineyard. You know what we're doing at a vineyard? We're doing some wine tasting. Welcome to a special edition of Crumpets and Tea on a wine tasting excursion where we are about to try some fabulous wines. We are about to go for a walk through this beautiful vineyard and learn about global warming and learn about water and learn about how to taste, how to drink, how to live wine. Oh, Paolo!
Allora, usually when we
Okay, please now full attention. This is really
remember
part of the deal.
when you go in a restaurant, smell the empty glass because sometimes the empty glass are washed with soap, and so some residuals can destroy the wine served. Allora, after you put the wine slowly in the glass, you have to spin many times, and you put the nose inside the glass.
Yeah.
But
so he
very
skips the
inside,
visual
not
examination. We keep that in mind.
no, not this way, but you spin and you put the nose inside and you. Okay? Use your instinct. It's not necessary to be an expert about the wine, just use your instinct and you can have a very good result with your partner because, for example, what is the first fruits you remember smelling this wine?
Yeah. What is the fruit
What is the first fruits you
that you
remember
identify
smelling?
here? What do you smell?
Sorry?
Pear. He says pear.
Pear, you are an expert.
Wow!
Logan. Yes, we will see. You will get a second chance.
Spin the smell, because every time you know
Yeah, you release the flavors more forcefully. And this is a very young wine. You can treat it also forcefully. With an older wine, you're more.
Ashley, are you smelling it right now? Okay.
I don't know what it smells like though, unfortunately.
Bad lighting. Go ahead.
I don't know what it smells like, unfortunately. What, I'm sorry? I didn't do it right.
I left it on the table. Okay, y'all. One of these barrels cost 8,000 euros. 8,000 euros. He said that that's how much a Mercedes costs. 8,000 euros. 8,000 euros. And then here are the empty bottles. Ready. That's so crazy. 8,000 euros. I know. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Okay, today I'm gonna. Mi dispiace. Okay, so our professor had originally told us not to go to Zaza because he said it was very touristy and like don't go there, the food is not great, and like he literally said I'm not even gonna mention Zaza, like I'm not gonna talk about it, right? And so we walked right past it, like can't talk about it, can't look at it, like can't acknowledge its existence. And instead, there's a place next to it called Trattoria Mario. And trattorias are normally like family businesses, like local, you know. And they also are small, you know, local businesses. Like food is authentic, food is good. That's what it means. Okay, so for my birthday, I was so surprised. Like, this is the most beautiful thing ever. I love surprises. Like, if you know me, you know I love. Okay, so they completely, utterly surprised me, and I was so shocked. Like, I literally was like, probably gonna go home and cry and go to sleep. No, they were there, balloons, everything. Like, the beautiful balloons that you see, like, those were there. Like, everything I could ever. You can't even imagine because that's not what I like am thinking, right? And so it was more magical and twice as beautiful as anything I could ever imagine. Okay, so they planned everything out, and I'm just like they tell me like, oh, we have reservations at 8. Okay, whatever. So we go and first of all, they were really nice. The place was gorgeous. Like, it's huge. We had our own private room, which was phenomenal because like we could be as loud as we wanted, we could talk as much as we wanted, and we could like enjoy ourselves. So that was the first thing. second thing was their servers. Okay, first of all, the servers there are super flirtatious. Like, flirtatious. And one of them fell in love with one of my friends, not gonna say her name. The other one, there was one that was from Argentina, and there was another one that he had a bunch of piercings. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. The food was absolutely delicious. Like, it was delicious. We can't even deny the fact that it was good. Like, it was good. It was delicious. I can't even complain about the food. I don't even like mushrooms, but I had a pasta with mushrooms and it was delicious. And I know that one of my friends had steak and it was good too. And I don't even really like steak like that, and it was good. And like everybody, it was delicious. The service was great. They were really attentive towards us and kept coming over and like, you know. What about the bathrooms? The bathrooms were beautiful. I'm also gonna rate out the bathrooms. The bathrooms were great. What else? Oh my god. Okay, so then the server at the end tells me like, oh hey, like it's your birthday, I'm gonna give you your present. I'm like, okay, where's it at? And he's like, my house. And I was like, oh. He's taking it to that level. And yeah, I was like, no. I don't know what you think, but no. Okay, we have a little update on the waiter. As I told y'all, the waiters were really, really flirtatious. Not us. We don't like that.
Never us.
Do you have anything to say about Zaza?
I left Arely's number for the waiter since it was her birthday. That was it. That's all I have to say.
And update, no one has contacted me. So, one, you lost my number. You probably washed your jeans right after. Did you wash your jeans right after and you lost your number? Because that's the only plausible thing I could see or think about. Okay, so last year on my birthday, I saw this really beautiful person. I'm not going to say if they were, you know, whatever. Anyway, so they were at the bar and they gave me a free drink. And I thought we connected. And so there I am with my number. And then the next time we go, a week later, I wanted to avoid this person because I'm like, you didn't call me, you know? Like, excuse me, it's a privilege to talk to me. So then Amanda's ordering her drink, and I'm like this because I'm trying to avoid the person. Because, you know, that's my go-to, like, avoid you. And then he's like, hey, and he taps me, and I'm like this, like, oh, hi. And he says, oh, hi, sorry. I washed my jeans right when I got home at 4 in the morning. You do not wash your jeans at 4 in the morning. You go to sleep. You're a liar. Liar, 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 liar. And he told us that he washed his jeans right after, and so he lost my number. Like, it got lost in the washer. First of all, you're a liar. Second of all, you don't have to talk to me. You don't have to call me. Like, I don't care. It's not like I was crying over you or something. Like, I completely forgot I gave you my number. I have better people to talk to. What do you think?
She was upset. Update, plot twist. She was upset.
Okay, so anyways, yes, that's what happened. So that's the background of that story. I want to say one thing. Who lets me send people messages when we are at a winery? Apparently, I sent someone something saying, you make my heart melt. No one makes my heart melt. I don't know why I would send someone that. Like, oh my god. Why do I have to wake up opening my phone to read that I sent someone you make my heart melt? I don't even know you. What do you think about that?
First of all, it was a piece of toast
Oh
with butter, and it said you make my heart melt. That's the best part. She forgot to mention that.
I don't know why I do these things. Sometimes I wonder. Welcome to SAS. S-A-A-S. SAS, where we discuss the real topics of life, where we keep it real, we keep it honest, We keep it deliberately honest. We are reale. Here we will discuss our topic of the day, aka Jordan, Chloe, Tristan. What is going on? What is the tea?
Yes, I wrote down some notes on my phone.
Oh my god! Yes, girl!
Just things I thought were interesting.
She's bringing all the sass to this table. This table is where we bring the sass.
Okay.
You have the floor.
I have so many questions. So, one of the first things I thought was like, how is this edited? In the sense that they, for a lot of moments, it looked as though they were cutting out part of the conversation, and I want to know why.
Ooh.
The fact that the fact that Jada was the only one there. I know you guys had mentioned it earlier, but I did think it was really interesting. Like, I understand they wanted her to be there, so Jordan felt comfortable and that she was like willing to share. Because ultimately, like, as you're filming, right, like, it matters who you're with in that moment, even though you have there's intention of sharing it. But there was a lot of moments you could see Jada, like, I felt like holding back as though she could say something because she was trying not to be judgmental. But, like, you kind of need that in that situation because it is an issue. Like, obviously there was some pushback when she's like, yeah, you have to admit that you were wrong for doing this and doing this. But in the end, she still, I feel like, just like let it go too easily. But also that could be because we've been told that it was a bigger deal than Jordan claims it was. I think whenever Jada asked her how she thought, or if she had done anything more with Tristan, she was like, no, never. Or like, oh, did you sleep with him or anything? I thought she looked like she was lying. Just because if you look at her cheeks, she looks as though she's like almost smiling.
It's like a smirk.
Yeah. Which I just thought was like, I mean, it's sad to like dissect that much. I mean, because you could say that. I mean, I've seen things that like make me really sad or something, and I smile because I'm nervous. So like that could have been a response. But then the fact that she was so adamant about the lie detector test, I thought was super shady. Yeah. Because it's almost as though it's like reverse psychology, right? Because if Chloe were to turn around and say, yeah, let's do the lie detector test, people would be like, why is she doing that to her like, poor girl, obviously she didn't mean anything. And like there's no win in that entire situation. Like there's no way that could turn out good, turn out well, fine. Other questions? What do you think will happen with their relationships? Being like, do you think like the Kardashians and Jenners will ever be able to forgive her and welcome her back into her life? Because they talk about like how important like forgiveness is, and like it's just such a hard thing. Because I mean, obviously we know that she's dealt with it before and it was horrible. So how could she? I mean, like, get over that, I guess. I think that's just like really hard, but at the same time she was in their life for so long, and if it wasn't that big of a deal, if everything went according to like how Jordan said, then I don't see how that would like warrant lifelong like never talking to you ever again. But that's again like having to take what she said to be the like entire truth. Her blaming herself for everything I thought was wrong, because Tristan is obviously to blame for a lot of it. Yes. But at the same time, it is so important for her to realize that she was in the wrong for not telling Chloe firsthand, for letting him even get that close to kiss her. Because I mean, you have enough time to be like, no, this isn't happening, and to walk away from the situation. Yeah.
There's consent. You're right.
Wow.
Oh, and then the last thing I have is just in all caps, the legs, because I couldn't believe that she, like, put her legs on him, because I define that as being something intimate. Like, if you're not, like, you don't do that to people you're not interested in, no matter what the case, especially if she's already recognized that it was wrong for her to go to his house, which she defined as, like, the house of an ex-boyfriend.
I really want to say this now that you're hitting that point, is that she really mentioned that they were broken up. Like, well, they're not together. They're not together. Like, it's just the baby daddy, but it's like they're not together. That's true.
Yeah, that's all I have. I didn't. That's a good point. I agree with the legs. That was, first of all, that in and of itself is strange.
Yeah.
And her whole story, dude, that story about the kiss and the way she described it is one of the main things making me think that she's not telling the truth. I was telling Celia, I do think that she didn't sleep with him or anything, but she was just trying to protect him too much. Like, saying that she knew that he, like, what did she say? She said something like, I know that he
Was a cheater?
No, she was like, I know he had a part in it, but I don't want to point fingers type thing, which is true. You don't want to point fingers, but it just, the way she was speaking about him really removed so much of the, like, this is me and him. Yeah, this is me and him. And she was taking it all on herself, which is fine. Like, I'm sure she just didn't want repercussion for being, like...
That's what I think. She didn't want to point fingers and then be attacked for just pointing fingers and not accepting his responsibility. She felt like that was a safer route to go.
But the whole, like, it was just the kiss with no passion. It was just...
To emphasize no passion was kind of like,
that was strange to me. And in correlation with the legs. Like, it's like, you're sitting next to somebody, she admitted she was drunk, you know, I like that Jada asked her, were you flirting? Because I felt like that's so true. Like, is there any indication throughout the night that you guys were, like, getting comfortable with each other?
Yeah,
that's
like,
my question. Because it's, I mean, I feel like we all could relate to that. Like, you're vibing with somebody and you're kind of just like,
whether or not they're in a relationship.
Yeah.
It happens,
So I feel like that would have been I would have hoped for her to have been more in depth about what she was doing with him at the party. Like, were they talking about something? Like, I wouldn't want her to just be like, we were just doing normal party things. Well, normal party things is flirting. Like, that's, you know, that's a thing you do at parties. But it's hard to be like, oh, this is what we were doing at the party, because I'm sure it wasn't, like, legal.
Well, I also think, like, on that same note, whenever she would say, like, oh, we were just, like, at a party and we were just dancing, like, how do you define dancing? Because if you're going to talk about LA culture, you don't dance 5 feet away from someone. That's not a thing.
Yeah, that was just kind of brushed off as, like, a generalization, like, well, it's, you know.
I mean, but she also very intentionally mentioned how many people were with her. She's like, I went as a group. He didn't personally invite me. Like, it was as if I went into someone else's car and, like, I was taking a ride somewhere. Like, she very intentionally, I think, removed herself from constantly throughout it. Like, she was claiming responsibility, and I think she did it more once Jada said it. Like, Jada at one point was like, yeah, you know, like, most definitely, like, speak your truth and everything, but she's like, also make sure you're telling the truth and, like, taking responsibility for your actions. And I think just as a young person, I don't know how old she is, but I still do it. Right, like, ooh, see, even, like, you don't want to take responsibility for your actions because you're still super young, like, and this dude's like a grown-ass man, like, with a baby, someone else's baby, like, she's probably just like, yeah, I wanted to have fun because he, again, assuming you're going with, like, the rumors of her, it's like, okay, cool, this is my friend's sister's ex-boyfriend, but I also just wanted to have fun that night, like, I'm inebriated.
Yeah.
Constantly, I was like, well, did he force himself on her? This is a fucking basketball player, like, how big is he? He's over 6'5", 6'8", most likely. Like, this is a grown-ass man, and she's 21. Like,
and he's sleazy, we know.
Right, he's sleazy. Like, the fuck? How much control or how much responsibility / control are you giving her over that situation when you have a grown-ass 6'8" plus basketball player in his freaking house, comfortable as fuck? Like,
that's why it's like, why doesn't anyone think about
not giving her an excuse, but just providing broader kind of
Yes.
like view of the
Like,
situation.
why is no one getting mad at him for first of all throwing a party at his house when he has a baby and a girlfriend and a baby?
Wait, but
like,
are they girlfriend and boyfriend? Like,
well, I don't know, but
is she-
even then he has a baby, so like it's still being pointed at her like, oh well, yeah, she's just trying it out, she's just young, you know, she's having the time of her life. Like, why is it just her fault? I just don't understand why it's just her fault.
Good move to have Jada. Like, good for her publicity. That's great. I'm just like,
should have Will Smith at the beginning.
yeah.
They provided a very, what is it called, sympathetic kind of vibe. They were like, Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Jada Pinkett Smith,
Wholesome. Yeah, you
father
want
passed
the
away, like all this stuff
exactly.
constantly throughout, which was
not saying anything mean
no,
about
no,
it,
not
but
at
yeah,
all, but
it was just
like,
a
very
good.
intentional, you know?
It was
Mind
a
you,
good
If she's
strategy.
getting death threats, like, you kind of need to do that because it's like, hold on, she's human first.
Yeah.
And now let's ask these questions.
I think that was the truest part of the interview when she realized how terribly her family is being treated. Because as soon as she said, "My little sister can't go to school," that was the truly genuine moment. The other part, I'm not saying it was a lie, but it just that was the first time that she looked like, damn, my family is getting shit over what I did, like what we did, you know, like over a night that probably is just like
don't mean shit.
Yeah. That people are blowing definitely out of proportion. Like,
first of all, I'm already like, why would you stay with him? He cheated on you the day you were about to give birth. I know he's a father of your child, but already it doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with him. Like, relationship as in like stay with him. You know, you just have to have a civil relationship because he's the father of your child. So I just feel like she's defending him. And I agree. I think it's because of what you said. It's because she's been trying to have a baby for so long. And she wants this perfect fairy tale because she obviously tried it with Lamar. She stayed with him even though he was constantly cheating on her. You know what I mean? I feel like she's just, and I don't want to use the word desperate, but I really do feel like she's just so desperate to have this fairy tale life. And that's why she keeps saying with all these guys that continuously cheat on her. Because Lamar cheated on her. She still stayed with him. Lamar did all these things to her. She still stayed with him. That's the only one that I really know of that, you know, because everybody else, you know. And then, but it makes me mad. Like, why do you have to stay with someone? That's it. I just don't agree with why she has to stay.
I do have one thing that I was like, this is rough. When she said bye, when she made that comment about like, if I was a weak person, I would hurt myself.
Yeah.
I know she didn't mean it like in that way, but hurting yourself doesn't make you weak.
Oh, I didn't like that either. It was.
I know that's not what she meant.
Yes, I know that's not what she meant. Yes,
but I really feel like that part bothered me.
Oh,
like, it truly bothered me.
Yeah.
So I think she just needed to watch her words or her phrasing.
See, and I think that's also interesting because I felt like overall it was very rehearsed. Like in the way she walked about everything, it was as though she was being interrogated, right? Like she'd gone over it so many times. And I kind of wanted to add that earlier when you were talking about her sister. Like, yeah, that was like the one moment, or like talking about her family, that it didn't seem rehearsed. It was kind of like, this is a reality. This is no longer me like trying to perform anything or get any message across. Like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
You're right. It was really rehearsed.
Which is why, like, the question I asked Amanda earlier was, like, did this even change any perception you had of her? Because for me, it kind of didn't. Like, by all means, like, I don't like the Kardashian family. Like, they have their own, like, set of... I have my own issues with them. But for her to have... I mean, no, just because of their, like, exploitation of the black man, their exploitation of black culture, like... The fact they very intentionally, like, I don't know, create these scenarios, not only in their show, but just, like, in people's lives, where, yeah, you have someone like Lamar Odom, and, like, yes, he cheated on her, but he was also dealing with, like, very intensive, like, drug abuse on his own body, and it's like, well, to not blaming it on them, that was by no means, like, any effect of them, but it's kind of like, well... now that's completely public. Like any person that associates themselves with them, like you are constantly in the public's eye, which is Savannah's earlier comment of like, okay, have any of them cheated? That's very valid. Like you would probably honestly know because it would be in the show. It would be on television. Like it's low key.
Yes.
So
Yes.
high key news, honestly.
Yeah, but that's where people, remember I was telling you, that's where people have been writing, okay, but Kylie took Tyga, who was already dating Black China? Was he dating?
No, that was Rob.
Okay, that was Rob.
No,
But they were together.
Oh,
They
they
have
were
a baby
together. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what made
Oh,
the
okay.
tree.
Yes.
Yeah, the tree more complicated.
Yes, so
Oh,
that's where
that's
people
weird.
were saying, well, that's what they deserve because Kylie took Tyga, and then there are all the people that they've taken or all the people that they dated. You know, like all these people were in relationships and they all had kids, but yet they date. And Chloe, yeah, they've said that too. Like she's a hypocrite and she deserves this because she also dated Lamar and she also dated Tristan, and she also dated all these guys that have kids or that have already a female in their life. And it's like, oh, but here's a Kardashian, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's better than that?
And it's like,
I was just gonna say, I mean, by them saying like Chloe deserves that because she got with Tristan, that is just so horrible because I mean that's just Tristan getting away with it like twice. Like no one's drawing attention to that. Like yeah, he had that baby left for Chloe, and then now he's with Chloe, and then is like ultimately leaving her because it's wrong to force her to stay in that position.
but that's also just culture in general. Like the man is never blamed. Like this, like Me Too, by all means, is like a beautiful movement, but at the same time, like you will never get rid of the stigma attached to women in any type of like, what is it called? I don't know. Basically, like what is it? I forget the word, but like if you're cheating on someone or some type of like scandalous sexual relationship, it's like the man is perceived as like, oh, good job, dude. Like, oh, if he'd done it in the past, like, oh, this is just his pattern. Like, of course he did this. She should have known.
Can you blame him?
Right. It's like, can you like really stupid comments of like, okay, but like what? It still happened. Like he is again the two for tango thing. He is also responsible.
Two for tango.
So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. How's your perception for change, given that you all have commented it's orchestrated? Like the only really authentic portion seemed to be when she talked about her family. Did the family comment change anything that you previously thought of her?
Yeah, I definitely like didn't feel any compassion for her before, but now I definitely like am taking it into account because. Especially because everything I read, I did read about the lap dances, like them being really close all night long, all that stuff, like the phones being taken away, which makes it super shady. Yeah. And so I had just understood it to be more of she knew it was going along, and this was something that was like a repeated action versus her story saying, no, none of this happened until the very end, and then I walked away and didn't make anything of it. Like with that's entirely different. Like not to say that it was okay because, like I said earlier, like she could have easily pushed him away. Like they didn't need to kiss at all. She didn't need to put her legs on him. That didn't need to occur. But I like do feel worse because she is getting so much hate over this. And if this weren't them, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because it's a private matter. But because we're so invested in it, in that family, the media's so invested in that family, she is. I mean. Getting horrible threats, these messages.
I believe it, but she's getting freaking death threats. It's like,
yeah, like how could you not feel bad?
I don't know why I laughed. That wasn't funny.
And I think it's, and from my earlier comment, it's not due to like I feel sympathy for her by all means. Like I am glad Jada gave her the space to honestly speak, like, and it not be through Twitter or some type of social media platform, because that's not helpful. Like when people can respond to you immediately, like for her to like be like, I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, like I'd wake up and literally my phone is blown up with all of these account messages, death threats, all of this. Like I feel like that was a pretty authentic part, just because like even if it was orchestrated, like I wouldn't admit to being like, oh, I couldn't, like, yeah, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, but no, for sure you can joke that, but I don't know, we know she was getting those. Like, you can see the comments on Twitter. Like, so you can feel some sympathy as far as, like, yeah, she probably had 1,000 plus, 10,000, whatever, that's is getting, like, I guess, views and comments on this action. So whether or not she didn't eat or sleep, you know it could have had an effect. But then, yeah, she started talking about self-harm and giving a portrayal of weakness, and that wasn't okay.
I think the more resonating part with me was just Jada. Just because when I already started watching it, I was like, okay, this girl. But then Jada kind of did that whole, like, you need to show compassion.
Yes.
And then at the end, she again did the whole, like, I don't know. I just feel like Jada's presence alone was kind of enough for me to be like, first of all, this isn't even any of my business. Like, why do I care?
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, it's true. Like, people make mistakes all the time. So I feel like it just made me feel like I should check myself rather than like, oh, I feel bad for her. Like, you know, we've just been talking about this. She was a part of this, and you know, so on and so forth. So I just feel like the Jada thing was more resonant.
I feel like in some way Jada must have known, like, obviously she knows their secrets. Like Jaden, that's her son, right? He knows their life, they're friends. Because I really like the part where she said, if you've never made a mistake, if you've never told the truth. I felt like she was throwing shade at them. Like, you know you've made mistakes. You know you've never told the truth, like, accurately. Like, she was telling them, like, you need to be more sympathetic, more compassionate, and, like, you obviously have made mistakes in your life. Like, you did not just get here just by, you know, like, being honest. Like, you've obviously done shady things. Your whole family has done something that's not nice, and like now and that's I think that's what bothers me the most, is that they do things that are not okay. The Kardashian family, obviously, but yet when it comes to them and somebody does something to them, oh, it's the worst thing in the world. You know, because even I know Chloe, she had a show, I didn't watch it, but she had a show, and I know she said, like, I don't know why Ciara is saying that she's not going to have sex with her boyfriend until she gets married. We all know she's not a virgin. And then she always says, though, on Twitter, whenever somebody comments about Kim, because she has a sex tape, she's like, no, you're supposed to be nice to other women, lift each other's crown. And I'm like, why are we talking about Ciara then? Or every other girl? You're talking about every other girl criticizing another girl, but when people criticize your sister, oh, let's uplift each other as women. You know what I mean? That's where it makes me mad, because it's like, if you really want to uplift each other as women, then you will uplift all women and not just the women that you like. You know, that are your friends, that are rich, or that are, in your social status or whatever. Like, you need to uplift all women. Why are you talking about Ciara? Who cares if she wants to wait till she gets married? You know what I mean? That's her own choice. That's where that makes me mad, and that's why right now it's like, okay, so because you were betrayed, it's okay for you to go off and for people to send other people death threats, but you know what I mean? If this were your best friend and somebody was doing it to them, you would probably be the same exact person being mean to them. You know? Like, I just don't like that, where it's like, uplift each other as women, but it's like, girl, you need to uplift all women, not just your women that you favor.
There's a chair there.
No, it's just right there.
We're just
That's what she's saying. There was an arm on the
that
chair.
obviously Jordan was
she
recording.
put her leg.
He was
Tristan's
sitting
the cheater, so we all
there.
know he's always
She's
lying.
sitting
You know what I mean?
here,
This is the way it
and
happens.
rather than sitting like this,
She's sitting.
she sits
Oh.
like this.
No,
Therefore-
but then she very intentionally was like, oh, where was your leg? And she was like, well, it was touching his, so it wasn't there. It was like on his
but
lap.
on his lower leg,
Yeah.
which
Lower
means it's
leg.
like that.
But I thought it was touching his, like,
No,
No.
she said I wasn't near the crotch area.
I thought she said I was.
I like how she
No.
purposely said, I was
Yeah.
not on the crotch area,
Okay, so she's like this, but she doesn't need to be like this.
She doesn't need to.
though. She's drunk. She's getting comfy.
I mean, she did say that. She's like, I wasn't blackout drunk, but I was
You can sit like this.
Be comfy.
Savannah, thank you for showing the
He was
fans.
on the chair next to the couch.
So you're saying he's here and she's sitting out?
And
I understood.
I thought it was like that. That's what it was like. How are her legs on his lower legs? Like, he's a giant. You're up higher. It was weird.
That's
but
true.
that makes more sense. I feel like
He's a
that.
giant.
And
That's
also, high key is probably a mansion, so why aren't you sitting in another chair?
Oh my god, you're so
I know
right.
this room seemed really small.
Right, I'm like, your friends are over there, y'all are dancing, like small but big enough for y'all to dance far away from each other.
But there was no room anywhere to sit. That's true.
Okay. Cool.
Well, also, if he's a giant, how would her legs be on his lower legs, right?
I'm saying, I was like, that makes no sense. So that's why I thought for sure she was like,
It
oh,
was
I
on-
was touching him.
Yeah, because it would have to be
Oh,
like
that makes
upper legs.
Like, you're
Legs
on
aren't
his
gonna
lap,
go there.
basically.
Yeah.
What, his shins are all the way down there?
But okay, if he's sitting down, his legs come up if he's taller. Like, do you know what I
Exactly,
mean?
which
They're
makes it
literally
harder for the bottom of
they're
his legs to
literally
be
like
close
this.
to her.
Like
High key, she's on his knees at this point. I don't know.
so then her legs would have to have been in between to be. That's this is
Poking holes? Poking holes?
Very technical, but yeah, no, you're right.
Sass, you ask it, you get it. You knock on the door, you receive. You have a lighter, we turn on the candle. SAAS. Here on SAS, we just talk about the real topics in life. We discuss the reality and we give our opinion the way it is. The way it should be told, the way that people should be talking about this. Who needs the view when you have SAS? Who needs the real when you have SAS? Who needs the red table? Actually, I've never seen the red table before, but I actually really like Jada Pinkett Smith. Who needs it though when you have us? We are your new group of people that you need in life. We are the newest, the realest. This is everything you've ever wanted in life that you never knew you wanted, but you knew that. Sass. That's our song. Thank you.